All right. So let's go ahead and check in with the bottom of the deck energy. Yeah. Releasing anxiety, which is good. This is a good thing. I want to see this. Yes, I think Taurus, you're coming to grips with the situation. I think you're able to read between the lines of panic and hysteria that the media and social media is portraying. And it's like, all right, I think you're getting yourself grounded and you're like, all right, I know what my reality is and I know what I need to do to take care of myself, my family, my immediate surroundings, right? And I feel like this is going away. So you're allowing the swords to fall out. You're gaining clarity on the situation. And I think you have a path and a way forward, right? Which is great because with the other readings, with the other zodiac signs, the energy was really heavy and there's a lot of like frenetic sword energy, and the energy was very stressful, very heavy, very anxious. And, with you guys, I feel like there's a release going on that you're like, all right, we're past that. We're now making sense of what the new normal is. And I think you're flowing with the situation a lot easier. So you're being represented as the Three of Wands reversed. So you're waiting on something to happen. I feel like, we're all sort of like in this pause mode. It's like we're now self-isolating, social distancing, self-quarantining. And, it's like, excuse me. Sorry. And the energy that I've been picking up on all night long has been just very draining. So, like I said, you all are my second to the last readings, and it's getting to me. So I'm sorry for that. But yeah, so, you guys are turning within, and I think you're looking at what your new normal is going to be. And I think you're realizing that once we come out of this, global pandemic situation, that life is different. Life is going to be very different. And we may not be able to go back to our regular jobs. We might be doing something else. You might find a different purpose, during this period of pause. It's weird. I mean, this whole thing, it's definitely a gift. It's definitely divine timing, because the next card of the situation is Wheel of Fortune. And this has been coming up a lot in the previous readings, and other oracle cards have been coming up to support that this global pandemic, what we're going through right now today as a human race, is divinely guided. And I do believe that this is happening to change our karma, to change our fortune, and to allow us to up-level, expand, and become better human beings and better versions of ourselves. Because I feel like this is a spiritual exercise and a grand social experiment to get us to wake up to what's important to us, to get us to focus on real issues. And I feel like as Americans, we can be very plastic and very shallow. And it's like, we focus on dumb shit sometimes. It's like, why do we care? Right? When there's big things going on, people are losing their lives, people are losing their livelihoods and their jobs and their incomes, but sometimes we focus on dumb shit. So I feel like this situation, it's forcing us to slow down. And now that many of us are home, either teleworking or just home altogether, we're home with the kids. Those of you who have children and who are, school age, it's like, it's time for us to just be together as a family and to reconnect and to get to know one another better, because before this even happened, the conversation was working 50, 60 hours a week, don't have time for social life, barely have time for a family, barely have time for my spouse. There's no such thing as date night. Hell no. When I come home for the weekend, I'm tired. We sleep. We run errands, and then Sunday night, it's like, oh gosh, it's already Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Time to get ready for work. Do it all over again, right? So what type of relationships are you building? Not very solid ones. You may live together, but I don't think you really know one another. So I get the sense that, this global pandemic, which is forcing us to go home and stay home, it's allowing so many of us to really connect on a personal level and on a soulful level. And that's the gift. That's the gift. That's the experiment. And it's allowing us to really prioritize what's important and what's bullshit and to get rid of it, Because I do get the sense that, because the next card that's coming out is Five of Pentacles, but this is also a card of spirituality. And I feel like many of us are being called towards our spirituality, towards our faith, to strengthen that, to strengthen our faith with spirit and to strengthen our faith in humanity. And we see people in need, walking towards a church, or people who've been left out in the cold as well. This can be representative of so many people in our society right now on so many levels. People are out of work. People are starting to stress out about their financial situation and how they're going to make ends meet and how are they going to put food on the table and how are they going to, diaper their babies. How are they going to care for their elderly parents, right? Yeah. We are now being forced to really look at some heavy situations. Because before that, life in America, I feel like, was a bit shallow. And we could be doing so much better as human beings. And I feel like now is the chance for us to really connect with that idea and to step up and do that, and not only be better citizens in this country, but globally as well. Yeah. This is a global effort. And I feel like this is a unifying effort to increase social awareness and increase interconnectedness and unity, right? Yeah. Interesting times that we're living in, and it's going to get worse before it gets better, unfortunately. And it's just time for us to just really be looking out for one another and making sure everyone's okay and doing well and offering assistance where we can, helping someone out with maybe extra food or extra medicine or extra hygiene supplies or whatever this means, whatever that person needs. It's time for us to step up and do better and to be better. And I think we will. So I really do get the sense that once all this is said and done, we're just going to be better people, Yeah. So it's going to be a good thing. So I'm pulling from the Shine Your Light deck, and it's the Inner Temple coming through. It's coming in reversed. This is about devotion. Tune into the portal of your heart. It's coming in reversed. But yeah, tuning into the portal of your heart. Heart-centeredness. Leading from the heart. Kindness. Love. Yeah. Allowing your inner light to shine through. Yeah. But this is something that we're all working on. That's why it's coming in reverse. So I feel like this is something we should be focusing on. We should put more time and effort, into our healing, because that's going to impact, our light and how we approach situations and how we empathize with one another and how much we're willing to help one another. So yeah, heart-centeredness. I love it. It's beautiful. You got two. Oh, beautiful. Renewal of peace, new experiences, and possibilities. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's beautiful. Renewal of peace. This is definitely a do-over, this whole situation that we're in. It is about reestablishing peace and harmony, not only within ourselves, not only within our immediate family and social circles, but our communities, our nation, and global peace, world peace, right? And new experiences and possibilities. Yeah. This situation is changing us for the better, and it will result in new experiences and possibilities. Anything is possible. And right now we're being called to be creative with how we continue to live our lives and how we continue to interact and operate within a restricted set of rules for health reasons, right? The social distancing, the self-quarantine. So far, we're not on a 24-hour lockdown, although San Francisco is. There's talk that New York City may go in that direction. They're really trying to avoid it. But, I mean, if things get worse, that means that things are going to get a bit more restricted. And it's going to make life a little bit more challenging. So it's time for us to really embrace the new possibilities and experiences and figure out what our new normal will look and feel like. Because a lot of what we do now is what's going to carry us into the future. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of lessons that we take forward as we move on eventually once everything is said and done. So yeah, let's check in with your sacred earth. Ooh, revolution. I feel like this is a spiritual revolution. And a lot of the other signs, check out your moon sign, rising sign, and Venus signs, those videos for those, because there is a lot of messages about talking about this being a spiritual revolution and that we're at the tip of the spiritual spear. Yes, that's what I want to say. Sorry, it's a little bit of a tongue twister. But it's all about us shining our light and really being beacons of hope and inspiration for those around us. And I also see revolution as the end of a cycle. So we just entered one phase, and I feel like life as we once knew it has been altered. And that's sort of a thing of the past. And now we're into this new reality, this new cycle, this new revolution. When we're done with that, the conclusion, I feel like we're going to come out different, more evolved, stronger, more socially aware, more socially conscious, right? So this word revolution has different meanings for me and different interpretations. And yeah, Spirit is saying that this is a spiritual revolution. It's about soul expansion. It's an awakening for not only the United States, but for the globe. We're just going to be better people, more enlightened people, more socially aware. I do get the sense that this is a very good thing overall. Yes, it's hard. Yes, there's a lot of stress and worry and fear associated with it. But if you're able to see past that and to really focus on the gifts and the blessings and look between the lines of the fear and the paranoia, there's some good things there. That's the lesson. The spiritual lesson is underneath all of that. You have to get through the chaos and the noise in order to understand what's really going on here. Okay, so your archangel message is from Sandalphon. Gentleness. Be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of Taurus energy here, and it's just about getting grounded. I'm seeing nature. I'm seeing just spending time in the sunlight, walking around your neighborhood, just being outside, taking things slow, just not rushing anything at all. Just being present, being in the moment. And I feel like if you can do that, you're going to be well off, with what comes down the pipe. I really do. And your angel message is coming from Chantal. New romance is imminent, either with a newcomer or through reignited passion in your existing relationship. Be open to giving and receiving love. Yeah, I get that. I see this on different levels, because it is about opening our hearts and shining love and giving love, and this is about us bonding with our loved ones and being better people for, our spouses, our children, our family, our friends, just showing up and being more authentic and being more present. If we can do that, we expand the quality of the relationship. We actually renew it, right? So, and there is possibility to be dating other people, like new people, You can still date. It's just, you can't go to the restaurants, you can't go to the bars, but you can still order out. You know, you can still have picnics outside. You can, hang out at one another's place and order food or cook, cook a nice meal and watch movies and stuff. So this, I'm telling you, this is a gift in disguise. It's just about connecting, being present in the moment, and being grateful and thankful for what we have in our lives, in spite of the chaos, in spite of what's going on in reality. There's still goodness in all of this. And I think that's the lesson. It's seeing beyond the chaos.